What do you do when a one-ton bull is trapped, terrified, and tangled in steel right in front of a school full of children and teachers? My mind went straight to a scene from a comedy movie that wasn't a funny thought at the time. But the solution that saved the day wasn't about force or panic or power. It was about something much quieter, much older, and much, much wiser. This is a story from my time as a school principal, and it taught me one of the most valuable lessons of my life. For years, I had the privilege of working in education in San Juan County, Utah. My journey led me to become the principal of Mexican Hat Elementary, a small school of about 150 students, serving families from the area in and surrounding Monument Valley, Utah. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm not sure what heaven looks like, but I know what it feels like. It'll feel like the love, the excitement, and the pure acceptance I found in that little school. The beauty of the landscape, which people come from all over the world to see, is only matched by the beauty of the people who inhabit it. Our story starts on a crisp autumn morning. The chill that would run down with the water from the San Juan River, which we were right on the banks of, was in the air as I pulled up to the school. The day was already buzzing. Buses arriving, teachers preparing. It was a normal day, except for two things. First, I had two agents on campus, Agent Butler from the FBI and Agent Begay from the Navajo Criminal Investigation Division. They were helping with a recent break-in. Because we were on the reservation and in a federal, we were under federal purview, so we worked with federal agents, both from the tribe and from the Bureau of Investigation. But secondly, there was a bull. I looked over at the teacher housing unit compound across the road. There were about 6 houses over there, surrounded with 6-foot-high chain link, cattle guard in the front, where teachers would live and walk across the road to work. And there he was. I looked across and there he was, a large bull, completely stuck. All 4 legs had plunged into the deep gaps of the cattle guard at the entrance. A teacher walked by and smiled and said, "I know what you're doing today." Now you might be asking, how on earth did a bull get himself into this mess? This wasn't a new fence. It wasn't a new area. Well, that was kind of my fault. To encourage families to come to our parent-teacher conferences, we had to get creative. Time is valuable for everyone, and we wanted a gimmick to get people there, get excited about it, and help us work together in the education of their children. Now, livestock is a vital part of the Navajo way of life, so feed is always in high demand. We had organized a raffle for 2 tons of donated alfalfa hay. It was stacked neatly inside that fenced teacher housing area. To an enterprising bull in a barren landscape, that hay smelled like a 5-star buffet. And his instinct to get a meal had led him into a dangerous trap. My mind went blank when I saw the bull in the cattle guard. The cattle guard is generally a deterrent. It's not a way to capture and release. All I could see was that scene from the movie Napoleon Dynamite where the farmer, well, let's just say it doesn't end well for the cow. And it happens right in front of a bus full of students. That could not happen here. The agents who were there to assist with another matter were now in the business of animal control. So the agents and I assessed the situation. It was bad. Each leg was wedged in tight, and my first desperate thought, as I looked at the agents with their 45s on their hip, would be to have one of them put the poor animal down and remove it there. I had no other ideas. But I thought about how messy that would be and how difficult that would be. And that's when Agent Begay, a Navajo man from Kayenta, spoke up. He said he had a relative, a man who just had a way with livestock, a true animal whisperer. He thought this relative might be able to help us. I was desperate at that point. I said, yeah, make the call. Let's get him coming this way. Agent Begay's relative, whose name was Lynn, listened to our problem over the phone, and he said he could help. But he had two requests. He wanted to make sure a tow truck was there as well to lift the bull once he had calmed it down. And he wanted a good lunch for him and his driver. I have never agreed to anything faster in my life. The plan was set. And Lynn started driving toward us. And when he arrived, there was no panic in his eyes. He was the definition of calm. He didn't shake his head. He didn't laugh. He didn't respond in any way to this situation other than with calm. He walked around the terrified, trapped bull, just looking, assessing. Then he went to his truck and he pulled out a simple yellow tow strap. Now, I've been around cattle. I've seen brandings and participated in brandings. Even a small calf is incredibly powerful and dangerous. I have bruises that can attest to that. And this was a full-grown wild bull, and I couldn't imagine how a single strap was going to do anything but just make it angrier. And to wrap it around the animal seemed out of my realm of possibilities. But Lynn knew things I didn't. He didn't just understand animals. It felt like he spoke with them on a level that I couldn't fully comprehend. As I watched, he began to wrap the bull with the tow strap, calmly, methodically, across the neck, under the front legs and back. Then he started to apply pressure by pulling the two loose ends of the tow strap. He would pull and then wait. He didn't jerk. He didn't hook it to a truck. He pulled and waited. He wasn't attempting to lift the bull, just to calm it. The bull would tense, then Len would pull again just a little tighter and wait. It wasn't a battle. It was a conversation. He was speaking to the bull's panic, not with words, but with steady, patient pressure. After 4 or 5 cycles of this gentle pulling and waiting, the most incredible thing happened. The bull, which had been fighting for its life, began to relax. Its breathing slowed, and then it rested its head down. Its eyes closed. It was completely docile, almost asleep. With the bull now calm, the tow truck moved in. They were able to secure the boom and slowly, carefully lift the bull from the cattle guard. The bull's feet and legs came free from the steel teeth of the cattle guard, and then the truck pulled forward and gently set the massive animal on solid ground. The bull was safe. The students were spared a terrible sight, and I was able to get back to being a principal. But with a lesson I would never forget. So what's the moral of this story? What's the lesson that I wouldn't forget? What did I learn? It's easy to think about the biggest problems, require the most forceful solutions. My first instinct was the most direct and the most brutal option. But the real solution didn't come from force. It came from wisdom. It came from Len not trying to overpower the bull or bend its will or beat it down. He understood it. He knew that applying the right kind of pressure in the right way at the right time would bring calm instead of chaos. And that's the real lesson here. When you face a problem that seems impossible, whether it's a 1,000-pound animal stuck in a cattle guard or a challenge in your own life, don't just look for the hammer. Look for the person who understands the language of the problem. It's a lesson in humility. It's a lesson in recognizing that our way isn't the only way. It's a lesson in respecting deep, quiet knowledge over loud, brute force. And it's a lesson in the incredible power of calm, of a calm and gentle hand to solve a problem that panic and force and brutalness never could. That day, in the shadow of Monument Valley, I didn't just see a bull get rescued. I saw a masterclass in wisdom, patience, and empathy. And that's a lesson worth more than all the hay in the world. Thanks today for joining me for this, my 8th video. I appreciate you. I know many of you are watching who are related to me, and maybe some of these stories are new and some are not, but I appreciate it. If you have any stories you'd like to hear, throw them in the comments. I'd love to see if I can remember them and put them together. Subscribe, put a little notification on. It'll tell you when my next one is. Thank you, and have a beautiful, beautiful